You've checked the clock again. Maybe more than once. Doing the math each time. How many hours left? How tired you'll be tomorrow? How this is the third night this week? And here's what no one tells you about that calculation. It's the thing keeping you awake, not the lack of sleep, the counting. Tonight, we put the clock away, not by ignoring it, by making it irrelevant. Before we continue, if you've been checking the clock too many nights in a row, subscribe to Night Reprogram right now. Tap the subscribe button below this video. It takes 1 second, and it means you'll have this exact relief waiting for you the next time the clock starts pulling at you. And if this is already helping, tap like 2. It helps this reach someone else lying awake doing the math right now. One more thing before we begin. Please don't listen while driving or operating any machinery. This session is for sleep only. If tonight you've already checked the clock more times than you'd like to admit, there's something in the pinned comment for exactly that. Welcome to Night Reprogram, a space where the clock stops mattering and sleep stops being something you have to calculate your way into. By the end of this session, you will be asleep, and the number of hours left will have become completely irrelevant to getting there. Here's something important about checking the clock at night. Every time you look, your brain does a calculation, and every calculation activates the same system that handles deadlines, problems, things to solve. In other words, checking the clock turns sleep into a task. A task with a shrinking deadline, a task you're failing at, the longer it takes. And tasks, by their very nature, keep the alert part of your brain engaged. So tonight, we remove the task entirely. Not by telling you to stop checking the clock. That rarely works in the moment. But by making time itself feel irrelevant. By going somewhere that clocks don't reach. Close your eyes. Let go of counting. We begin with breath. Something that has no relationship to clock time at all. Your breath doesn't know what hour it is. It just continues. Breathe in slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold gently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Feel the first sense of time loosening its grip on this exhale. Again, breathing in slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And releasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The urgency of the clock beginning to fade. One last breath, breathing in fully. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And releasing the need to know what time it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. I want you to imagine the room around you growing darker. Not frightening, just dim, the way a room looks in the last minutes before you would normally turn off the light. And in this growing dark, I want you to imagine the clock on your nightstand, or wherever it lives in your mind, beginning to fade. The numbers blurring slightly, becoming harder to read. This isn't something you have to do. It's simply happening, the way a room naturally darkens as night deepens. The clock is still there, but you can no longer quite make out what it says. And something in you relaxes when you realize it doesn't matter. The darkness continues to deepen, not just in the room, but in the part of your mind that's been tracking time all night. That tracking system, tired itself, finally gets to rest. I'm going to count you down from 20. With each number, the darkness deepens, and the clock becomes less and less relevant. 20, the room growing softer, dimmer. 19, the clock's numbers blurring further. 18, your mind's tracking system beginning to switch off. 17, the urgency of time passing, fading. 16, deeper into the dark. 15, halfway. Time becoming abstract, distant. 14, the clock no longer visible at all. 13, your body settling into a place without minutes or hours. 12, deeper still. 11, nothing to calculate. 10, halfway. 9, the darkness complete. 8, time, completely irrelevant now. 7, only this moment, without measurement. 6, so deeply at rest. 5, almost there. 4, the deepest dark. 3, timeless. 2, here. 1, complete darkness. No clock, no calculation, no time. In this timeless dark, I want you to notice something. The anxiety about not sleeping yet, about how many hours are left, only exists when you're measuring. Right now, there's nothing to measure. There's no clock telling you you're behind, no number reminding you what you'll feel like tomorrow. There's only this dark, quiet, unmeasured rest. 20 more steps into this timelessness. 20. The darkness holding you without measurement. 19. Your body settling further. 18. No clock, no countdown, no failure. 17. Just rest, existing outside of time. 16. Deeper into this freedom. 15. Halfway. 14. Your subconscious fully open. 13. The performance anxiety of sleep completely dissolved. 12. Only timeless rest remaining. 11. Deeper. 10. Halfway. 9. Nothing left to calculate. 8. Nothing left to fear about tomorrow's tiredness. 7. Only this dark, unmeasured moment. 6. So close to complete rest. 5. Almost there. 4. The deepest timelessness. 3. Free from the clock. 2. Here. 1. Timeless, dark, complete. And your subconscious is ready to receive. There's a specific kind of anxiety that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not anxiety about your day, or your relationships, or your work. It's anxiety about sleep itself. The fear of not sleeping well, the dread of checking the clock and seeing how late it's gotten, the mental math of how exhausted you'll be tomorrow if you don't fall asleep right now. This is performance anxiety, the same mechanism that makes it hard to perform under pressure in other areas of life. It shows up here too, except the pressure is to do something that, by definition, cannot be forced. You cannot will yourself to sleep through effort. The harder you try, the more alert you become, because trying is itself a waking activity. So the clock checking, the calculating, the dread, all of it is actually counterproductive to the one thing it's trying to achieve. Tonight, we remove the performance entirely. There's no test to pass, no deadline to meet. Just permission to exist in the dark without measuring anything. Here's something strange about the clock at 2 a.m. It tells you the time accurately, but it lies to you about what that time means. It says you have 5 hours left, and your mind hears you are failing, and the failure is getting worse by the minute. But the clock doesn't actually know how rested you'll be tomorrow. It doesn't know that some of the best rest happens in shorter windows of deep, uninterrupted sleep, not in the total hours logged. It doesn't know that the anxiety it's triggering is doing more damage to your rest than the late hour itself. The clock only knows numbers. It doesn't know you. Tonight, you're not arguing with the clock. You're simply no longer asking it what it thinks. Its opinion doesn't determine your worth, your rest, or your tomorrow. It's just a number on a wall in a dark room that you've decided to stop consulting. I want to offer you a distinction that changes everything about insomnia. Sleep is not a task. Tasks have deadlines, metrics, success, and failure. Sleep has none of those things, naturally. It's a state your body enters when conditions are right, not an achievement you earn through effort. The moment you turn sleep into a task, checking the clock, calculating hours, measuring your performance, you've moved it into a category it never belonged in. And tasks, by nature, keep you awake, because tasks require the alert, problem-solving part of your brain. Tonight, sleep returns to what it actually is. A state, not a task, not a deadline, not a test. Just a state your body knows how to enter the moment you stop turning it into something to achieve. Your subconscious is fully open now, resting in this timeless dark. The clock's opinion of how late it is does not determine my ability to rest. Sleep is a state I enter, not a task I complete. I release the need to calculate how many hours are left. Checking the time keeps me awake. Releasing it lets me sleep. My body knows how to sleep regardless of what time it is. There is no test happening right now, only rest. Time does not exist in the place I am falling asleep into. I am allowed to stop measuring and simply rest. Tomorrow's tiredness is not decided by tonight's clock. I release the clock and sleep finds me. Imagine a future night, maybe soon, where you wake up briefly in the dark. And the old habit almost kicks in, the reach toward checking the time. But this time, something different happens. You notice the urge and you let it pass. Not because you forced yourself not to check, but because somewhere inside, you've learned that the number doesn't actually help. And you drift back to sleep without ever knowing what time it was. This is what tonight is building toward. Not perfect, instant transformation, just a small shift each time you practice releasing the clock. Each night you let go of the calculation a little sooner. Each night the dark feels a little less urgent and a little more restful. Until eventually the clock becomes what it should have always been. Just a clock. Not a verdict, not a countdown to failure. Just a clock in a dark room that has nothing to do with whether you deserve rest. Before the downloads begin, your anchor. Gently cover your closed eyes with your palm, not pressing, just resting there, soft and warm. Feel the darkness deepen even further beneath your hand. This is your anchor. Whenever the urge to check the clock arises, whenever the calculation starts, you can bring your hand here and say silently, "Time doesn't exist here." Feel what that does. Time doesn't exist here. Your subconscious will remember this gesture, and every time you return to it, the clock will matter a little less, and sleep will arrive a little faster. Tonight, while you sleep, your body completes its natural cycles, fully without anyone watching the clock for it. Deep sleep, REM sleep, the repair that happens in each stage, all of it unfolding in its own time, which is no time at all as far as you need to be concerned. You don't have to track this. Your body already knows the way. From here, the darkness carries you. My voice, fading like the last numbers on a clock if I have stopped checking. You don't need to follow it anymore. There is no time here. Only rest. And you are already inside it. I know what it feels like when checking the clock no longer feels necessary. I have the experience of falling asleep without knowing what time it is. I know how to let the urge to calculate hours pass without acting on it. I have the ability to rest without measuring how close I am to morning. I know what it feels like when sleep stops being a test I might fail. I have the experience of darkness without urgency, rest without deadline. I know how to release the performance anxiety that builds around sleep. I have the ability to let the clock be irrelevant to my ability to rest. I know what it feels like when time stops mattering and sleep arrives naturally. I have the experience of trusting my body's sleep cycles without supervising them. I am someone who sleeps without needing to know how many hours are left. I know what it feels like to wake up rested, regardless of when I fell asleep. I have the experience of insomnia loosening its grip when I stop measuring it. I am someone whose relationship with sleep is no longer a performance. I know how to enter sleep as a state, not complete it as a task. I have the ability to release the clock's authority over my rest. I know what it feels like when checking the time stops being automatic. I am someone who trusts sleep will come without forcing or calculating. I know the relief of darkness that asks nothing and measures nothing. I have the experience of my body's sleep cycles completing fully, undisturbed. I know what it feels like when the clock's opinion no longer reaches me. I have the ability to rest in a state outside of minutes and hours. I know how to let go of tomorrow's tiredness as tonight's burden. I have the experience of falling asleep faster each time I release the countdown. I know what it feels like when sleep returns to being natural instead of effortful. I am someone whose nervous system no longer treats bedtime as a deadline. I know how to trust the dark instead of measuring it. I have the experience of timeless rest restoring me completely. I know what it feels like when the clock becomes just a clock again. I am someone who is healing my relationship with sleep, one timeless night at a time. No clock, no countdown, only dark, only rest. Time is gone. I am free. I am still. I am safe. I am here. I am already asleep. No clock. No countdown. Just dark. Just rest. Ready. Sleep.